Hello, everyone. Nick here. Hope you're all doing well today. I am back with another book review. We are going to continue with the Deadtime storybooks, and we are on to book 11, Nightmare on Planet X. Okay, starting off with the cover, we have this wonderful cover of an alien here. Love his eyes. Love these antennas too sticking out. Very cool alien. Looks like he is on a desert or in a desert. Kind of gives you Area 51 vibes. And if you notice, it says Free Planet X postcard inside. My copy does have it, thankfully. Here it is, postcard. Get more of a full view of the alien there. And then on the back, it has, where if you wanted to write to somebody and put your stamp. Very cool. A little piece of nostalgia. And, love the purple and green there, contrast. Just nice, solid cover. Very cool. All right, going into the book. I love aliens. I love the idea of them. I love alien stories. Very interested to see how this one was going to fold out. And first off, we are presented with our main character, Nikki, and he is sort of strapped to an operating table. He has been abducted along with the rest of his family. And of course, the book describes him waking up on this examination table, and you see all the wires and just the sterile environment. Pretty typical media and stories that, do talk about, being abducted and being in that environment. So yeah, it's pretty chilling. And then we meet the aliens. They have, like these big nose holes and these weird crinkly skin, according to Nicky as he's observing them. And then we meet the bad guy of the book, Dr. Ickelman. And he is just kind of this heartless scientist. Or in the beginning, Ickelman touched, like I guess his hand, they were able to communicate, and Nicky was able to pick up on their language, which is kind of cool off the bat. Say, hey, stop, I'm a, sentient being, why are you doing this? And of course, Ickelman, he says, you catch on fast. Like this isn't his first time that he's abducted someone, and he's doing these experiments, and he's about to cut open his brain. His sister starts crying from the other room, and apparently she's really loud, and this really bothers the aliens. He's like, I'll be back with you in a moment. Gonna go take care of your sister. Her name is Zoe. And so he leaves, and then we have a girl alien come in, and she's described as having like blue oval gem of eyes. She has a mouth full of these rocks that are supposed to be like her teeth. And Nikki's, describing these alien creatures. And she feels so bad for Nikki, and we come to find out her name is Rachel. I really love this character. I love the idea of the sidekick character being one of the aliens. And so she takes Nikki, and throughout the story, they're running from Ickelman, and on their world, this alien world, Nikki is, and he's trying to navigate it, and they're trying to get to Rachel's grandmother's house. Before Nicky and his family were abducted, his father is a pilot, and he was flying to their grandmother's house. So Nicky loves his grandmother, and of course he respects that Rachel loves hers. They find Zoe along the way. Nickelman is about to do some experiments on her when they find her and interrupt that. And really kind of fun story and seeing the alien world, how Nikki describes it, sort of like their vehicles, and it seems very similar to Earth. And a lot of these aliens have a lot of the same mannerisms. There's even like a truck driver alien. There are these gas station clerks who, are aliens, and kind of fit this typical American style personalities, which I really enjoyed. Of course, they're wanted, Nikki and Zoe and Rachel, for taking them. Eventually, they do get to Rachel's grandmother's house, but they're surrounded by, the government, the alien government. They're going to take Nikki and Zoe away, and they do get them. And unfortunately, Nikki and Zoe, they're in the same predicament they once were in the very beginning. Eckelman's going to, start conducting his research on them. All of a sudden, here comes the doctor's assistant, and she's, following his orders, asking him questions like normal. But it turns out to be Rachel's grandmother, and she is awesome. And she's like, son, why could you do this? I always liked your brother better than you. I may have forgot to mention, Ickelman is Rachel's uncle, and so she's, to get away from him. May have forgot to mention that in the first half of this video. But very disappointed, and of course they foil Ickelman's plans, and then Nicky and his family, they're reunited, and of course they're very skeptical, and of course they're very skeptical of trusting any aliens, even Rachel and her grandmother, who saved their lives pretty much. Nicky and his family, they are fortunately saved from like this other spaceship, and we meet Nicky's people. And what was fun twist about this story is that if you pay close enough attention, like if you're an adult, I feel like you catch on to this right away. But for a kid, maybe they don't realize this right away. But Nicky is actually, in our case, the alien, and Zoe, her grandmother, Ickelman, they're humans. But how, it's described in the beginning and throughout the story, we think that they're the aliens, which they are from Nicky's perspective. But it's pretty cool us reading it from, the aliens' perspective, as opposed to us, a person like us, like a human experiencing the alien. And I think that's, probably my favorite aspect of the book, and sort of how he reacts to humans and sees them as, of course, foreign, as we would see if we were abducted by aliens and taken to their planet. So that was a really cool part. And whenever they're saved, being that it ends off in, the alien people, the people that are, Nikki's kind, they, do not trust humans now because of their actions, and were going to do to Nicky and his family. They all see them as like an Ickelman, and that, Rachel and her grandmother are the exceptions. And Nikki's trying to convince them, no, 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 there are more good people like them out there. But his people, they want to pretty much evaporate the world, so destroy the world. And so at the end, the main general alien guy, he's like, "Oh, sorry, but they can stay here on the ship, Rachel and her grandmother, but we're blowing up their planet." And it just ends like that. And this book is more focused on the comical, like some of the other Deadtime storybooks, where they're all funny and have humor, but I think this one is trying to tap into that one too, like particularly like with the personality of the grandmother who we see at the end, Rachel's grandmother, and Rachel herself. I think they're funny characters. I love the interactions between Nicky and his little sister Zoe, and how just like people, I mean, they're just, Zoe's just a little kid, wants her parents, and she's crying, and makes the other humans, I should say, off guard, and her whining saves them in some situations, and I like that character aspect. But yeah, I thought they're pretty solid kids book. I thought that was kind of a fun twist in perspective. Us seeing it through the what we would consider the aliens' eyes, and seeing us as the aliens. So kind of fun. Um, I give it 7 if you have it. Have you read it? What do you think about it? Yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for tuning in again today, and I hope to see you sooner than later in the next one. Alrighty, bye bye.